We turn right now, you can see over the top of the Marina building on your right-hand side, the white triangular structure. That is the open-air amphitheater. This, of course, is where they hold all the concerts during the summertime. A very, very busy spot during the summer. This piece of property today is known as Del Prairie Park, named after one of our local radio and TV celebrities, Del Prairie. But for many years, this piece of property was also called Hospital Point. Because back in the 1800s, the only way to access this area was by water. And people used to sometimes spend weeks or months on vessels before they'd finally arrive here. When they did arrive here, they would be quarantined on this piece of property. Quarantine is actually the last word, because that's how many days they would be held here before being allowed to check the public. As we leave the Narrows, we enter one of the smallest lakes on the Trent-Severn Waterway, known as Little Lake. In the center of the lake, two floating devices. One of them, the Peterborough Centennial Fountain, which is up and operating. First placed here in 1967. This particular, well, I shouldn't really say first placed here. Actually, when they installed this fountain years ago, they did so by installing it deep in the bay, way over on your right-hand side, very close to that home, way over on, very close to the homes, way over on Crescent Street. It was, in fact, so close to the homes over there that on a breezy day, oftentimes the mist from the fountain would carry right over the tops of all of those houses. Well, the people that lived over there used to complain almost daily to the city, but apparently they felt they were getting second showers. They tried to head off to work each morning. But nothing was ever done about their complaints until the same mist from that fountain started to drip in behind the maple trees just ahead of us into what's known as Little Lake Cemetery. Over there, I understand it slowly started to erode away at the headstones. I don't know who's over there, but they started to complain. And the city quickly moved the fountain out about 1,000 feet from shoreline to where it is today.
That's for a change.
Yeah, that's a lot of information.
Yeah, we've written it out, it's about 32 pages.
Oh, really, huh?
That's just the things we usually touch.
Yeah. Who did the research?
Actually, I've done a lot of it myself, and we've also, I've hired university students
Oh,
at
yeah?
the beginning to
That's
find
great.
some of the information that we needed.
So you probably edited down to 32 pages.
Yeah,
You have a lot more information that you gathered. Yeah, yeah.
Heading across the lake right now, one of the very first people to ever inhabit this area, which we call Peterborough, was a man named Adam Scott, who arrived here in the very early 1800s. When Adam Scott arrived here, he found the area covered with huge white pine trees. The only people passing back and forth through this area at that time were those of the native Indians, as they moved back and forth between Lake Ontario and Georgian Bay, using this water route as their natural transportation route. As time went on, Adam Scott decided to build a mill, and a small community began to grow around this mill, which they started calling Scott's Mills. And they kept that name for quite a number of years. About 1825, though, another man named Peter Robinson led 2,000 people here from Ireland. When these people arrived from Ireland, each adult male in each family was given 100 acres of land and enough provisions to last them for nearly an entire year. So, as the area began to grow very quickly, they started to nickname it Petersborough, after Peter Robinson, and eventually the name stuck. And that's why we know it as Peterborough today. Now, even in recent years, the city of Peterborough has recognized the value of having a nice large lake right in the heart of the city. So as properties between the road and the water have slowly come up for sale, oftentimes the city has swooped in, purchased and torn down some of the old homes and factories just to make way for more parkland. There are, in fact, only a few homes over here on your left-hand side that are still privately owned and right out next to the edge of the water. And just past the Mark Street Wharf ahead of us on your left, the first of two long sandy beaches. For many of the old-timers in Peterborough, they might refer to the beach up here ahead of us on your left as that of Marble Beach. That's because in the early 1900s, due to the mid-60s, there was a marble finishing factory that operated on this piece of property. In the early 70s, though, the city took over the property, tore down the old factory, cleaned up the area, and made parkland out of it. But more importantly, they've renamed it. They now call it Rogers Cove, after Richard Birdsall Rogers, the man who designed and built the Peterborough Liftlock. However, many people still refer to it as Marble Beach. Even the sand on the beach over here was actually brought in 1 or 2 loads per day over the years that the factory operated. You see, they used high-pressured water to mix sand with it to cut, shape, or polish their marble. When they were finished with the sand, they simply took it out behind the factory and dumped it right at the water's edge, and eventually created this long sandbar. For anyone that's a rock hound, if you were to go over and dig around with the sand along here, you'd find lots of different colored pieces of marble. As we head across the lake right now, you can see the green and red markers on either side of us, showing boaters safe passage through here. Almost straight ahead of us, we have a single green marker floating in the center of the channel. This marker indicates to boaters traveling through that basically there's a change in the channel lying the road. Now, the main channel runs from left to right or right to left across in front of us, while the secondary channel will take you all the way back to the marina behind us. If today we were to turn to the right, go down around the corner on the Kawartha River, you could travel 22 miles all the way to Rice Lake. East and several days traveled by boat. you'd eventually end up in the Bay of Quinte on the edge of Lake Ontario. And at that point, we have lock number 1 at Trenton, Ontario. The locks are then numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way back up through the system until you come up the Otonabee River through Lock 19, across the lake in front of us, and into Lock 20, which was the first lock we traveled into today. As you head north and west, many more days travel by boat. You travel up through all the northern towns, such as Burley Falls, Buckhorn, Bobcaygeon, Friendly Falls, eventually through Paulson Lake out towards Lake Central, and finally all the way into the Georgian Bay, Port-Severn Lock 45. The distance from Trenton, Ontario, Lock 45, Port-Severn Lock 45, is about 245 miles, or about 386 kilometers from one end to the other. This is one of the longest it runs all the way through central Ontario. As we turn right now, we're going to be facing the first lock in the beginning of the canal, which stretches around Peterborough. They're just letting the water into the chamber right now. You can see it boiling up in front of the gates. And we're going to travel right into that lock in just a few moments. When Rogers was commissioned to overcome the change in elevation around Peterborough, he first of all looked at possibly putting in locks beside each of the existing dams or mills along the river. However, to do this, they would have had to drain the river, shutting down mill and industry for months, if not years at a time. So, of course, that was completely out of the question. Instead, Rogers decided to come over to the east side of Peterborough and strike off right up through the farmland. And that is the route to which we will travel today, is the man-made canal around Peterborough.